Have you ever watched a less qualified colleague get promoted while you're left wondering what went wrong? You're not alone. A recent study by Harvard Business Review found that nearly 58% of employees feel unseen or unheard in the workplace. Despite working hard, meeting deadlines, and staying loyal, many professionals find themselves stalled in their careers, not because they lack skill, but because they haven't mastered the unspoken art of communicating with power. Behind every meaningful advancement lies a crucial truth: it's not just what you do that matters, it's how you position it. As leadership expert John C. Maxwell once said, "Leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less." And when it comes to influence at work, conversations are currency. Drawing from both modern management research and timeless psychological insights, the 10 conversations you must have to advance your career reveals that career growth is less about grinding in silence and more about strategic self-advocacy. These conversations aren't just optional, they're essential. As the ancient proverb reminds us, the tongue has no bones, but it is strong enough to break a heart or build a future. Imagine you're on a treadmill, running fast, but staying in place. That's what happens when you focus solely on performance without visibility. Think about it: if your manager constantly shifts expectations, or your workload keeps ballooning without recognition, could it be time to push back and realign? These are the exact situations where influence-building conversations make all the difference. Just like an architect uses blueprints before laying bricks, you need to set foundations with words before expecting structure in your career. So, how often do you check in with your manager about evolving priorities? Have you ever challenged unrealistic expectations, or do you just take them on and burn out quietly? What if simply asking the right questions or setting clear boundaries could open doors you didn't even know existed? Most professionals don't struggle with competence, they struggle with communication. And that's where transformation begins, when we shift from being passive task doers to proactive stakeholders in our own career narratives. If you're ready to stop waiting for recognition and start commanding it, this is your moment. Learn how to align with leadership, influence outcomes, and finally take control of your career growth. Because the most important meetings in your professional life aren't the ones on your calendar, they're the ones you initiate. Don't just work harder, speak smarter. Subscribe, share this insight with your network, and let's rewrite the rules of advancement, together. About the author. Melody Wilding, LMSW, is a human behavior expert and executive coach with a master's degree from Columbia University. She teaches at Hunter College in New York City and has earned recognition as one of Insider's most innovative career coaches. Wilding is a regular contributor to top-tier outlets including Harvard Business Review, Forbes, and Fast Company, and her insights have been featured in the New York Times, The Wall Street Journal, and The Washington Post. She is also the acclaimed author of Trust Yourself, a guide for sensitive high achievers navigating leadership and workplace success. Key takeaway 1: Why good work isn't enough, the career-saving conversations you're not having. A job well done. And still let go. Imagine joining a routine morning Zoom call, coffee in hand, only to hear an unfamiliar voice say your job has been terminated. That's exactly what happened to Melody. She was blindsided. Her performance had been stellar, her contributions praised. So what went wrong? The answer was stark: her role wasn't aligned with key business priorities, and she lacked advocates within the organization. In fact, studies show that more than 70% of layoffs are not based on performance, but on perception and alignment. This real-world scenario reminds us, hard work alone doesn't guarantee career security, strategic alignment does. It is not the strongest that survive, but those most responsive to change. Charles Darwin. Experts like Melody Wilding, a human behavior professor and career strategist, argue that career growth hinges on conversations, not just competence. The first one? Understanding exactly what your boss expects. This means moving beyond assumptions. Ask questions like, what does success look like in this role? What metrics matter most right now? From there, build a power map, a visual tool that helps you identify the decision makers and internal allies who influence your future. As the saying goes, it's not just what you know, it's who knows what you know. Think of alignment like navigating with a GPS. If your personal goals are heading north and the company's priorities are heading west, you're bound to veer off course. Want to lead a high-impact project? Hoping to level up your visibility? Then set a clear one-year vision that intersects with the organization's needs. Much like a GPS recalibrates your route, aligning your goals with corporate objectives keeps your career path resilient, even when the terrain shifts. Isn't it better to steer with intention than drift aimlessly and hope for recognition? Enter Gabe and Adrian, same mission, different outcomes. Gabe pushed hard to promote a team member, but kept hitting a wall. Adrian, on the other hand, adapted to his boss's communication style, presenting his ideas in structured, solution-oriented ways that resonated. Why did one succeed where the other stalled? Because people process decisions differently. The 4CS leadership framework breaks it down. Commanders want clear results, cheerleaders thrive on energy, caretakers value emotional nuance, and controllers prioritize precision. Understanding and syncing with these styles is like speaking the native language of influence. So, ask yourself, are you tailoring your communication, or hoping your message magically lands? Start shaping your career with intention. From building internal allies to aligning your vision and adjusting communication styles, these small shifts create massive leverage. Craft a manual, a personal document that outlines your ideal workflow and communication preferences. Even if you never share it, it brings clarity that guides better interactions. Remember, your career isn't a solo effort, it's a dialogue. So start those essential conversations today. Key takeaway 2: Why speaking up at work changes everything: ownership, boundaries and career growth. What if one small fix could transform an entire system, and your career? At a bustling hospital, Seiko, a prosthetist, noticed a recurring problem: critical medical shipments were getting lost, delaying care for vulnerable patients. Instead of waiting for someone else to fix it, she took initiative. She gathered data, consulted her team, and proposed a solution. Even after facing resistance, she persisted for a year, and finally, her system was implemented. The result? Faster treatment, happier patients, and a well-deserved seat at the strategic table. This isn't just a story about logistics, it's a powerful reminder that taking ownership can elevate your influence and impact. The best way to predict the future is to create it. Peter Drucker. Seiko's story underscores one of the most underrated career superpowers: initiative without permission. In many workplaces, inefficiencies linger, not because they're invisible, but because no one claims responsibility. Instead of waiting for green lights, start small, solve micro-problems that boost team flow or simplify operations. Use pre-framing to reduce resistance by highlighting benefits and timing your proposals well. Think of yourself as an architect. You're building bridges between ideas and action. But remember, true ownership is collaborative. Keep your team in the loop and welcome feedback to build sustainable solutions. Now meet Drew, a cautionary tale turned breakthrough. After leading a grueling multi-year environmental cleanup, Drew, a research manager, was burned out. But instead of recovery time, he got handed another high-pressure assignment. Torn between loyalty and burnout, he finally spoke up, not with a blunt no, but with thoughtful feedback and viable alternatives. His boss, initially dismissive, came around. The outcome? A more manageable plan and renewed respect for Drew's boundaries. His experience reveals a crucial truth: you can protect your energy without sacrificing your reputation. Why is setting boundaries so hard, and so essential? Many professionals fear saying no will brand them as uncooperative. But overextending leads to diminished results, both for individuals and teams. Think of boundaries not as walls, but as guardrails for sustainable success. Saying no isn't about shutting down requests, it's about offering structured alternatives, explaining trade-offs, and showing how protecting bandwidth benefits the broader mission. Managers respect boundaries when they're rooted in logic, timing, and respect. As the saying goes, you teach people how to treat you by what you allow. So what's the message here? Take initiative and protect your value. Whether it's spotting systemic flaws or advocating for your well-being, the ability to speak up with strategy is a game changer. Build credibility by solving problems, and preserve longevity by setting healthy limits. This balance isn't just professional, it's profoundly personal. Key takeaway 3: How to give feedback to your boss and network for career growth. 2 conversations that change everything. What if staying silent is what's stalling your career? Radha, a seasoned employee relations specialist at a Fortune 100 company, found herself in a constant whirlwind. One week, she was fielding employee complaints; the next, organizing company-wide training sessions. Her boss's shifting priorities left her chasing moving targets and missing deadlines. Frustrated but hesitant, Radha delayed giving feedback, fearing backlash. When she finally did speak up, her manager initially bristled, but then listened. That brave conversation sparked better alignment and smoother workflows. Her story reflects a larger truth: feedback is powerful, but only when delivered with strategy and grace. Speak when you are angry and you will make the best speech you will ever regret. Ambrose Bierce. Giving feedback to someone in authority can feel like walking a tightrope. Most professionals avoid it, fearing conflict or retaliation. But the price of silence is high, miscommunication festers, projects derail, and resentment builds. So how do you speak up without blowing things up? By focusing on actions, not personalities, and using neutral, fact-based language. Ask yourself, is this a one-off, or a recurring pattern? Does it impact performance or morale? Have I taken full responsibility for my role in it? Thoughtful reflection before confrontation makes the difference between a courageous conversation and a career setback. Imagine feedback as a GPS for your workplace. If your boss is steering the company car but keeps making wrong turns, are you just going to stay quiet in the passenger seat? Of course not. Instead, you gently suggest a better route. Effective feedback works the same way, data-driven, timely, and focused on outcomes. For example, rather than saying you always change priorities, you might say, when project goals shift weekly, I've noticed delays in meeting our deliverables. Can we clarify what the next 30 days should focus on? This framing invites discussion instead of defensiveness. And if your input isn't welcomed? Document patterns, stay composed, and consider looping in HR or trusted allies. Feedback opens doors, but networking helps you find them. Letitia, a UK-based analyst, found herself sidelined from high-impact training opportunities simply because no one thought to loop her in. Her solution? She didn't complain, she connected. By participating in internal networks and professional groups like Women in Tech, she built genuine relationships that eventually led to a career-boosting transfer to the US. Networking isn't a side hustle, it's a core strategy for visibility and growth. And it doesn't require charisma or clout. All it takes is curiosity, consistency, and a willingness to give before you ask. So, what's the real secret to navigating workplace success? Speak up, then reach out. Giving feedback to your boss isn't about confrontation, it's about collaboration. Networking isn't about small talk, it's about shared goals. Together, these two conversations can redefine your trajectory. Build credibility by addressing challenges with clarity, and amplify your influence by building authentic connections across departments and regions. Key takeaway 4. How to get noticed at work without bragging, the art of strategic visibility. In a bustling design meeting at a luxury fashion house, tensions flared, again, between the creative and production teams. Behind the scenes, Jeremy, a seasoned pattern maker, had been quietly diffusing these clashes for months, balancing artistic vision with logistical reality. Yet no one knew. That changed during a casual elevator ride when he shared his approach with an executive, 𝗕RAGI. Her interest sparked a follow-up conversation, and new opportunities. Jeremy's story proves a hard truth: being great at your job isn't enough if no one knows what you're doing. According to management expert 𝗕RMENIA Ibarra, you have to be visible in order to be credible. The message? Visibility isn't vanity, it's strategy. From humble to hero, without bragging. Many professionals fear that showcasing their work will seem boastful. But in reality, staying silent often means staying stuck. In high-performing environments, recognition doesn't automatically follow results. So how do you stand out without shouting? Frame your wins through the lens of business outcomes, like cost savings, customer impact, or increased efficiency, rather than personal effort. Think of it like a spotlight on a stage. You're not stealing it, you're directing it where it belongs. When you shift the narrative from "I did this" to "here's how this helped the company," you invite others to see your impact clearly. Conversations that build careers. Jeremy's elevator moment wasn't luck, it was readiness meeting opportunity. Every meeting, one-on-one, or hallway chat is a chance to reinforce your value through storytelling. Share challenges you've solved or innovations you've led, not as a brag, but as a narrative. If your contributions are overlooked or misattributed, resist the urge to confront, opt instead for strategic affirmation. "I really enjoyed leading the strategy on this project, great to see it delivering results." It's not self-promotion, it's context setting. Why wait for recognition when you can guide it? After all, if you don't tell your story, who will? When no one hands you a ladder, build one. 𝐾𝐨𝐿aine, a senior executive assistant who was passed over for a promotion. Instead of stewing in silence, she asked for feedback, identified gaps, and pitched a new role aligned with company growth. Her proactive approach didn't just earn her a promotion, it reshaped her department. Advancement often requires bold, strategic conversations. Whether asking for growth milestones or proposing a role that doesn't exist yet, initiative signals leadership. Opportunities don't happen, Said Chris Grosser, "You create them. So when promotions are scarce, create your own runway. Be seen, be strategic, be ready." Visibility at work isn't about ego, it's about alignment. To advance your career, connect your daily work with leadership priorities, expansion, cost-cutting, innovation. Cultivate relationships with decision-makers, seek mentorship, and increase your professional visibility through networking and industry contributions. Ask yourself, am I waiting for someone to notice my value, or am I showing it in ways that resonate with what the business needs? Because your hard work matters most when the right people know about it. Don't wait for permission to shine, step into your spotlight. Key takeaway 5: How to ask for a raise, and know when it's time to walk away. The silent cost of loyalty. Imagine leading over 200 employees, exceeding your business targets, and still discovering you're earning 30% less than the industry average. That was the reality for 𝗂𝐻𝐻𝐿, a department head whose loyalty had become a silent liability. For years, he avoided salary negotiations out of gratitude, until frustration forced action. With data in hand and a detailed account of his impact, he made his case, and rewrote his financial future. This scenario isn't rare. As Warren Buffett wisely noted, price is what you pay, value is what you get. In today's workforce, if you don't advocate for your value, you'll always be underpaid. The first raise happens on paper, not in a meeting. Before you even mention money to your manager, you need evidence-based leverage. Start with research. Sites like Glassdoor, PayScale, and Recruiter Insights will help you benchmark your role. Talk to trusted peers. Compare responsibilities and salaries. But don't stop there. Build your case with hard proof, increased revenue, process improvements, customer satisfaction gains, anything that ties your work to bottom-line results. Even if exact numbers aren't available, qualitative wins can still make your pitch persuasive. Want to earn more? Start by proving your worth like a consultant would. It's not just what you ask, it's how you frame it. A raise conversation is a business pitch, not a personal plea. Timing, tone, and tact are your best allies. Don't ask during budget cuts, wait for performance highs or company wins. And be strategic, frame your request around business priorities and industry benchmarks. If the answer is no, get creative. Propose alternatives like bonus plans, additional PTO, or upskilling budgets. If the excuse is timing, request a formal review later, with performance milestones in writing. And if your company has a history of pay disparities? Use fairness and data as pressure points. Are you asking for more, or just what's fair? When effort isn't enough, know when to go. Sometimes, no matter how well you negotiate, the doors just won't open. Jade, a marketing executive, hit that wall. After a merger stalled her advancement, she exhausted every option, new initiatives, broader responsibilities, direct feedback, but nothing moved. Even her manager admitted there was no path forward. That's when she made the hardest decision of all: she left. How many professionals stay in roles that no longer serve them, hoping things will change? When growth stops, waiting rarely helps, it just wastes your time and potential. Exit like a leader, not a quitter. If leaving becomes necessary, make it a power move, not an escape. Give proper notice, offer transition plans, and maintain professionalism. Craft a farewell message that keeps doors open and colleagues warm. Decline counter-offers with care. Most are band-aids, not solutions. And before you go, gather references and handle your exit interview thoughtfully. Your reputation will follow you. As Reid Hoffman said, your network is the people who want to help you, and you want to help them, and that's really powerful. Negotiating your worth and knowing when to leave are two of the most career-defining conversations you'll ever have. Handle both with clarity, confidence, and class. In summary, in the fast-paced world of modern work, many high-performing professionals find themselves underpaid, undervalued, or stuck in roles that no longer serve their growth. 𝐻𝐻𝐿, a seasoned department head managing over 200 employees, delivered exceptional results for years. But when he compared salaries across the industry, he discovered a harsh truth: he was earning 30% less than market value. His story reflects a common struggle: the hesitation to advocate for oneself out of loyalty or gratitude, even when the cost is personal. The turning point came when 𝐻𝐻𝐿 could no longer ignore the gap between his contributions and his compensation. Instead of settling, he did the work, gathering salary data, documenting his achievements, and crafting a confident case. This empowered approach led to a transformative conversation and a well-deserved raise. His journey teaches us that financial growth begins not in the meeting room but with research, self-awareness, and courage. Negotiating a raise isn't about arrogance, it's about aligning your worth with your work. Using platforms like Glassdoor and PayScale, speaking with recruiters, and analyzing your impact can help you build a clear, data-backed narrative. Even if hard numbers aren't available, testimonials and qualitative wins count. The goal? Connect your request to how you've driven business results, not just how hard you've worked. Equally important is how you frame your ask. Managers respond to professionalism and strategy, not pressure. Timing matters. Ask during strong company performance, not downturns. If a raise isn't possible, consider asking for alternatives like bonuses, extra time off, or development opportunities. And if you hear not now, ask for a review date and clear performance metrics. This sets expectations, and shows you mean business. But what if the door remains closed? That's where Jade's story resonates. Despite pushing for growth after a corporate merger, her ideas were sidelined and her career stalled. Eventually, she accepted the truth: some companies won't make room for you to rise. Her courage to leave wasn't a failure, it was an act of self-respect. Sometimes, the bravest move is walking away when you know your potential deserves more. If you're stuck in a role that no longer challenges or rewards you, consider your options carefully. Exiting a job doesn't mean burning bridges, it means protecting your purpose. Resign professionally, express gratitude, and leave behind a legacy of integrity. Handle your departure with the same excellence you brought to the role. And if offered a counteroffer, think twice. Most don't fix the root problem. Ultimately, this chapter of the book reminds us of two essential truths: you must advocate for your worth, and you must know when to move on. Both are difficult. Both are essential to building a career that reflects not just what you do, but who you are. Whether it's speaking up for fair pay or stepping boldly into the unknown, the most important career conversations are the ones you have with yourself first. If this message resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Like, share, and subscribe to help others find the courage to advocate for what they deserve. And if no one told you lately, remember this: you are loved, you are worthy, and you are spectacularly capable of extraordinary things.